This is Tamara from mooglyblog.com, and in this video I'd like to demonstrate how to work the long stitches for the edging for the Happy Autumn Leaves pattern, which is a free pattern that you can find on mooglyblog.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, please go to the link in the description to see the original pattern. Here I have the 3 autumn leaves shown in the original pattern, and when you're making these, you make rows back and forth, working a post stitch up the center, and then the veins for the leaves, I think it might be a little easier to see on camera here with the orange. The veins for the leaves are actually made with very long stitches. As you can see, I can get my fingers all the way under them here. And then there's an additional edging row worked after that to help smooth it out, which is when you make the loop. So I'm going to show you how to do those long stitches. Here I have started another leaf. I have just finished row 15, where I ended with 3 stitches, a double crochet 2 together, a back post stitch, back post double crochet, and a double crochet 2 together. You can see that back post stitch was the center vein down the center of the leaf there. You can see it's the one that runs right down the middle. So this is row 15. After row 15, you're going to place 8 stitch markers. They're going to be at both ends of row 2, row 5, row 8, and row 11. And this will help guide you as you make the veins, going towards the center there. So I have finished row 15, so I'm going to turn for row 16, which is also edging round 1. So first we're going to chain 1 and single crochet in each of those bottom stitches there. 1, 2, and 3. There we are. Then I'm just going to continue single crocheting evenly around the side until I reach that first stitch marker. So I'm going to do that, and I'll see you in just a moment when I've gotten there. Alright, so as you can see, I've been single crocheting evenly along the edge. And here I am at the first marker. I'm going to go ahead and single crochet into that space. The number of single crochets that you work along the side here doesn't really matter as long as it's nice and even and doesn't cause the fabric to wrinkle or stretch out. The exact number is going to depend a little bit on your tension and the kind of yarn you're using. So now I'm ready to work the first vein. What I'm going to do is a front post quadruple. So that means I'm going to wrap the yarn for a quadruple 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Kind of push those down out of the way there. And I'm going to do it as a post stitch around row 14's center stitch. So this was row 16, row 15, row 14. That's front post double crochet there. I'm going to go ahead and go behind it, yarn over, pull up a loop, and work it off in 2s, just as I normally would. And that's how you're going to anchor each of these stitches to the center vein of the leaf. Takes a little bit of time. As you can see, if you've watched my tall stitches video, you've seen me do this before. When I'm working a tall stitch like this, I really like to choke up, stay right on top of the stitch with my other hand there to help keep the yarn overs even. And there you can see we've got our first vein already. Now I'm going to go ahead and leave the marker here. I could take it out at this point. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to leave it here for the sake of time. I'm going to crochet single crochets on along the edge here until I get to the second marker. Let me pick this up a little bit. Those markers are tapping on the table. So crochet evenly along the side here until I get to the second marker. Crocheting into the side of a piece is the style of how you do it is up to you. Some people like to split the stitch. I like to go right around that whole front stitch. Creates a little bit of a gap maybe, but I think overall it tends to look a little more even. So now I've reached the second marker, and here I'm going to quintuple treble around the front post double crochet in the middle of row 11. So counting back here, this was row 14, so it's going to be 13, 12, 11. That's also where we have a set of markers, so that's easy to see. So right where we've got that first marker where we started our first one, that's the point we're going to be working into now. So for a quintuple treble, let me pull up a little more yarn here because we're going to need to yarn over 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then I'm going to go down here, go behind that double crochet in the middle of the row and work off the quintuple treble 2 loops at a time. There we are. And just take your time. If you find that it's getting a little loose, don't be afraid to frog it and do the stitch over again. Alright, there we go. It should be not hanging off loose, but it shouldn't be so tight that it's pulling the center towards the side either. It should be just the right amount of tension there. Then I'm going to continue single crocheting to the 3rd marker here. We're almost there. And then at this point, I am going to work another quadruple treble around the center of row 8. So for a quadruple treble, I am going to yarn over 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go to row 8, and that's easy to see at a glance because I've got it marked. Go around and go ahead and work those off in 2s. So I think you've got the basic idea of how they're done here. I want to continue just a little bit further because I really want to show you the picot right at the top, because I feel like that might trip up a few people too. Mainly this was to show you the long stitches. I've had a request for this, but I also want to show the picot because I want to make sure everybody's on track. So we'll continue crocheting along to the 4th stitch marker here as we go around. I really like these stitch markers. It's important with crochet to have stitch markers that you can open, whether that's a bobby pin or a safety pin. I like these ones by Clover. They open up just like a safety pin. Just make sure they're the opening kind. You don't want to use the kind that don't open. Those are for knitting, and those will be stuck in your fabric forever. Alright, so we're at the 4th stitch marker. So at the 4th marker, we're going to do a front post double treble. So that is yarning over just 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's going to go around the center stitch of row 5. So you see when I'm doing these front post stitches, it's like a front post stitch, but you know, we're kind of coming at it from a different angle, which is I think what tripping people up. We just kind of go right behind the post stitch there in the center. Pick up your yarn, pull it under, and work the stitches off as you normally would. Like so. There we are. Okay. So we're almost at the top. You can see we've got 1/2 of those veins already done. So I would just go ahead and single crochet along the side here until we come to the very top. And when we come to the top here, you can see before I crochet into it, this is basically our slip knot, where we chained 2 and then worked 5 double crochets at the beginning into the same stitch. That's that stitch. I'm going to go ahead and single crochet in there, and then I'm going to work a picot, which is a chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to work a slip stitch right in the 3rd chain from the hook. So that very first chain we made right there, like so. Oops, split the yarn a little bit. Let me try that again. There, and slip stitch. Then I'll single crochet in that chain space there at the top again, just to anchor it down really well, and I've got a picot there. Then at this point I'll continue single crocheting down the side until I get to the 5th one. I'll just show you one more so I can show you how they kind of stack up here. So again, at the 5th marker, this is going to be the one that matches up with that 4th one, so it's going to be another double treble. So we yarn over 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go back down. Now you want to come from the other side here because that's where you're coming from. Go to that same row, in this case I believe it's row 5, and go ahead and stick your hook. You can do it above or below, it's up to you. Just kind of see where the other one's sitting. It's right by the top here, so this time we'll go underneath. And just go to the same post and work around it. Like I say, whether you go above or below the ones previous is up to you. It just kind of depends on where you happen to hit on the post with your first one there. Just put them right next to each other though. You can see that's the one for there. Then I would just continue on down around the side until I got all the way back down to the bottom. Now at the bottom, what I like to do at this point is very simple. I'm going to work just evenly, 1 single crochet in each single crochet around until I get back to that picot, and then work 3 single crochets in the space of the picot there, right in the center. And that is going to give you this nice point here that isn't quite so pointy. Just kind of a nice leaf-shaped point. And then that's that single crochet all the way around. Then when you come back down to the end here, you'll do a chain. You could chain as long as you want to. I believe I chain 12 in this pattern, but you could chain longer if you wanted to hang it on something, shorter if you wanted it shorter. That part's completely up to you, of course. And that's really all there is to it. That's how you make the veins in the Happy Autumn leaves. Thanks so much for watching, and if you like our videos, don't forget to subscribe. It sure does help us out.